Good morning, guys. First up, if I sound froggy or tired or off at all, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning right now, so I'm kind of not awake yet, but I'm working on it. Got my coffee. So today I just kind of wanted to do a sit down and play with new makeup and kind of test out some of the things I've picked up lately. Now, some of the products I'm going to be using are, of course, older products. Like for my eyes, I'm using an older palette. My concealer is something I've used a million times. But I am trying out some brand new products from the drugstore today that are very, very affordable, and I kind of want to test them out. Now, it's already hot in here, and the high today is actually going to be 86, so this is going to be a really interesting day because I keep my house right around 72, 74-ish, so I am going to be going outside on and off, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything wears between a nice kind of temperate environment and then outside. So what I'm going to do is basically show you guys putting everything on, tell you guys my first impressions, and then I'm going to do an update later in the day, probably around, let's see, maybe around 2 o'clock in about 5 hours, just because that's when, if makeup's going to break down, typically it's broken down by then. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm actually going to start with my eyes. Oh, I'm also not zooming in super duper close for this since it's not a tutorial, and the eye products I'm using are older eye products. So to get started on my eyes, I'm just going to prime with my Lorac primer. Next, I'm going in with my Lorac Pro Palette 2, and I'm going to be using a variety of colors from here. I'm going in with Nectar as my transition shade. Oh, and you guys, I scheduled my driving test. I'm going to be taking it very soon, weekend after next. I tried to get it for this weekend, but they were all booked up, and they only have like a 6-hour span, I think, on Saturdays that they do testing. So hopefully I pass. I'm just taking a bit of this super light yellowy shade, Buff, and just popping that under my brow and to help smooth out Nectar a bit. And then I'm going to be packing rosé all over my lid. And then I just want to add a little bit of depth to the outer corner, so I'm going in with light brown. Just kind of working that in there. I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes. So the first thing I'm testing out is this. This is a sample I got in a Sephora Play box. And this isn't technically drugstore, but it is affordable. This is the Sephora Lashcraft Length and Volume Mascara. It's supposed to be buildable, provide length and definition, and it's supposed to dissolve with warm water. You're not supposed to have to use a makeup remover. So I've got just this cute little bottle. I do wish they put slightly longer handles on sample eye and lip products because they're very difficult to use. Oh, that's pretty though. Look at that. That's really pretty. Adding another layer is pulling my lashes straight, which always happens when I don't use a waterproof mascara. But that's okay, because I can always use this over a waterproof if I want them to stay really curled. But wow, that's actually really, really nice. Not super clumpy at all. Good separation, and they look really long and a lot fuller at the base. Okay, I like this. This isn't bad. We'll see how it wears though. I'm notorious for having mascaras transfer up here, so we'll have to see. Oh, for some reason, if you look, I always get a line of mascara on my upper lid, right there. I think that this upper eyelid is fatter than the other one and just like rolls over a little bit, and that's why I always get mascara on it. There's nothing I can do about it. I've tried. So I just let it go and do its thing. All right, the next product we're testing out is eyebrows. And for that, I'm trying the NYX 3-in-1 Brow in Taupe. Now, this is a product that I picked up probably about a month ago to try out in a haul. And it has a pencil, a powder, and a mascara. So I'm going to start by going in with the pencil, which is thicker than what I normally use. Actually, let me grab, this does not have a spoolie with it other than what's in the mascara. There we go. Oh wow, okay. This is really somewhat dark for a taupe shade. Okay, so here's what the pencil looks like swatched, and I'm sorry, that is not taupe. That's like a medium brown shade. So it's very waxy too, I've noticed. It's not at all like their micro brow pencil, which I love. This is a much more waxy formula, which I don't know how I feel about that. Wow, yeah, okay. So I'm going to grab, there's a good spoolie. There's a good spoolie. I'm going to go ahead and brush these out a good bit. Okay, this color is not a true taupe at all. I have a lot of taupe products. And yeah, this is really brown. No, I am not liking that pencil. Okay, here is the powder. And the powder is actually down in here. And this is just a little spongy tip. So you need to like put it down in there, shake it a couple times, and then you get the powder onto the sponge tip. And the sponge tip is, it's good for the thicker part of your brows, it looks like. But it doesn't come to a super fine tip or anything. It's kind of difficult getting that back half of your brow nice and smooth. And screwing this back in here to get more powder for the second eyebrow is a bit of a pain, to be honest. I'm going to swatch this wow. Look, it's barely, there's like barely anything. Okay. You guys know me, I love NYX, and it's pretty rare that I'm actually disappointed in one of their products. Like, I'm pretty much a total NYX fangirl, but yeah, not liking this. Okay. My brows just look really messy, which is not typically what I go for. And here's the brow mascara, which again looks dark. Let me pop this. Wow. Okay. That is not taupe. Not taupe. Okay, this is Essence Make Me Brow and Soft Brownie Brows, which is like their middle shade. Okay, this one, this is a taupe shade. This is medium brown. NYX, you didn't get the color right on this, guys. What are you doing? I'm kind of afraid to put this on my eyebrows, but I'm going very lightly, guys. Look at how dark that is. That is dark. Okay, I'm going to do the other one. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit and then really go at it with the spoolie here, because that's a bit of a mess. Let's see if I can fix this situation. Okay, we're kind of making it work. Kind of. I feel a little Groucho Marx right now, just a little bit. I don't want to take it off because I want to see how it wears throughout the day, but taupe is definitely not taupe. Okay, and when you go to brush it out, it gets very, very blotchy. So I'm just going to kind of leave it like this, even though it's going to kill me, and move on to our next product. So the next thing that I am trying are these, and these are the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundations. I got two shades. I got Nude Ivory and Soft Beige because I'm not sure which one is going to match the best right now, but I'm going to test them both out so I can figure that out. Ooh, okay. This actually comes, I think I remember other people mentioning this. This actually comes out on like a little spatula. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to pop some on my finger and test. Okay, that's the lighter one. That actually isn't too far off from where my skin is right now. And here is the darker one, which is a little too dark right now. Right, gonna smudge them together. Let's see what we get. Still too dark. Okay, so today we're going to go with the lighter one. I haven't self-tanned in probably 10 days or so right now, so I figured the lighter one would match better anyway. This little paddle applicator is really interesting. So I'm just going to dot it here. Ooh, too much. Now this is supposed to be amazing and not give photo flashback. Keep in mind though, if you use a powder over this that gives photo flashback, you're still going to get that effect. So I'm just going in with my Miracle Sponge. I'm going to start working this in. Okay, yeah, this actually matches my skin really well right now. Decent coverage. I'd say for the amount I put on, I'm getting a medium coverage. This is blending in so easy though, you guys. Some foundations you really have to play with to get them to blend. Not this one. I'm going to add a little bit more on my nose and cheeks where I just want a bit more coverage for the day. And a little bit more down here because I've got some acne scarring that I'm working on getting cleared up right now. Okay, so this does build really nicely. The second layer doesn't add a ton of coverage though. We'll see if that adds enough. It should. Okay, yeah, a second layer is covering up a little bit better and just covering some of that redness and just the uneven pigmentation. Now this set down really pretty. It's matte, but it's still sheer enough that you can see some of my skin texture and a little bit of the glow from my moisturizer underneath, and it looks really, really natural. I'm also really impressed at the matching. So we're basically going to see how this wears during the day. Normally I would put concealer anywhere I have spots, places like that. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny, tiny bit on my under eye circles because they are wicked today. I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape and just putting a teensy, teensy bit under there. And I'm going to dot a little bit on that red spot because it's bugging the crap out of me. There we go. That's better. So I'm going to go in everywhere I put concealer, and I'm going to set with my NYX HD finishing powder in Banana. Sorry, I'm looking for a brush. There we go. I'm going to lightly set that. And I'm going to set my foundation on my nose, my chin, and right along here. because those are the places where my foundation tends to wear off first. So I just want those places set to help prolong the wear, because I do this with any foundation I use. I'm not going to be adding any more powder or anything throughout the day. If I need to touch up, I will use blotting sheets and I will let you know. So now we can move on to the next product, and that is the e.l.f. Beautifully Bare Natural Glow Face Palette in Fresh and Flawless. Now, I have used this a few times and I do really like it. I haven't used the highlighter in this though yet, and I am going to be using that today. So here's what it looks like. You have a blush, a highlighter, a contour, and another blush. This one's more pink, this one's more peach. I like both of them, by the way. So I'm grabbing a contour brush, and I'm going to be doing a light contour. Now, my main criticism about this palette is it doesn't last super duper long. It is one of those palettes where if you're wearing your makeup for like 12 hours, you're going to want to have it with you to touch up. But it blends really, really well. The contour color is gorgeous. It's not too orange or too ashy. It's really pretty. It just blends beautifully. And they're not overly pigmented. I know a lot of people are all about, oh, pigment, pigment, pigment. But especially if you are not a professional, if you go with an overly pigmented product, unless you know how to apply one correctly and are good with a very light hand with a brush, you're probably going to apply too much. So next I am doing blush, and I'm just going to mix these two together because they're so pretty. For some reason, about the past week and a half, I've been all about the super fresh, super glowy, extra soft makeup looks. Nothing harsh, nothing overly carved, nothing that could be described as Instagram makeup. I swear, look how pretty this blush is, you guys. This is just so pretty and so just fresh and healthy looking. I love it. And I'm going to be going into this highlighter. This is not a super bright highlighter. Let me swatch it for you. It's kind of like a toned down pearl shade. Let's see how it looks. No, anything there? Okay, so I'm getting a tiny bit of glow out of this. So I'd say it's okay if you really like a super duper natural look, or you just want a tiny bit of glow, but you aren't majorly into highlighting. But if you love highlighting, then this is just not great. But it's a very, very subtle highlight. So if you want light highlight, then it works. It's not my favorite though. That's all the face products. And the last product I'm trying out is also from Wet n Wild. And this is their new gel lip liner. I just recently hauled this, and this one is in the shade Bare to Comment. It's a nice neutral nude shade. And there is Bare to Comment. As you can see, it is way lighter than the packaging, as I mentioned previously, but it's a very pretty color. So here is my whole look for the day. Very simple, very relaxed. Like I said, I'm just going to be doing some work around the house and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say bye for now, and I will be back in a couple hours to update you guys on how everything is wearing. Hi guys, so I am back, and right now it is 2:05, and let me tell you, I am loving my makeup today. So first up, the lip product. As you can see, it kind of has mostly worn off, and it's got that weird line that you sometimes get from liquid lipsticks, that funky gummy like color line. I absolutely hate that. I think it's gross. But I also typically don't wear a lip product for 5 hours without taking it off and reapplying it. So this lasted really well without wearing off or creating that line for about the first 2 to 3 hours of wear. Now, I haven't eaten anything yet today, which I know is terrible, but I was drinking coffee and tea, so that kind of affects it a little bit. Overall, though, I really like the color. I think the wear time's good. I just wish it didn't create that line, but some products do and some products don't. It all depends on the formulation. But anyway, I do like the lip product and the wear is really good. Anyway, next I want to mention my eyebrows. I know I didn't like them when I first put them on because it's a very, very dark formula, but honestly, having worn them for as long as I have, I can see there is a bit of wear right here where I don't normally have any hair there, but that's fairly typical unless I'm using like a waterproof brow pomade. That area tends to wear off quickly for me. I do like the formula, I just don't like that particular color. I don't think it's a true taupe, but honestly, having worn it longer, it actually isn't that far off. It's maybe couple shades darker than my natural hair color. Typically, I like my brows a little bit lighter, but after wearing it, I actually kind of like the color. So I'm probably going to hang on to it and wear this more like when I'm a bit tanner and darker brows fit a little bit better. To me, they just look like too much of a stark contrast when I'm this pale. So next, I'm just going to go over the face palette I tried out. As you can see, it has faded quite a bit, but it's still visible. You can still see the blush and the contour and the highlight. Everything's still there. It has toned down and faded a little bit, but honestly, for an $8 face palette, that's pretty good wear. Realistically, a palette with 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlight, high end would run roughly between $30 and $50, depending on who you're getting it from. So for an $8 face palette, that's not bad. And then last thing I want to mention is this foundation. You guys, look at my skin right now. It is hot as heck in here. I've been running around like a maniac, cleaning, organizing my office, doing all kinds of stuff today. I've been insanely busy and my skin looks fantastic. You guys, this foundation, oh my goodness. Ugh, this is better than like some of my Holy Grail type foundations. Like if you look at my chin, normally a foundation on my chin will separate, no separating. It's not going into my lines. When I was a teenager, I got sun poisoning and my forehead, I was at Live 8 with my mom. We went there for a weekend and it was crazy hot and crazy sunny and I was a stupid teenager and didn't wear sunscreen and got sun poisoning. My forehead actually swelled that thick, about an inch off of my head. Like you could press and indent your finger into my forehead. So I was a miserable wreck for the next few days, but shortly after that, I did develop lines on my forehead because I do this all the time. And while doing this all the time will eventually cause lines. The sun damage I got on my forehead actually made those lines way worse. So normally a foundation there will crease unless I set it. I did not put any setting powder on it and it did not crease at all. Plus, look, I look a little bit glowy, but I don't look super oily or wet or greasy or gross. I have not added any extra powder. I haven't blotted even. I still look very glowy and dewy and fresh, but I don't look greasy at all. And my skin in general feels like matte but moisturized, if that makes sense. And I can look and I'm not seeing any patches where it wore off. I mean, right here's a little bit light, but I do sit like this sometimes when I'm working, like I'm like this. So it's a little bit light here. So I'm looking in the mirror over here so I can see better. But everywhere else, and maybe a little bit on my nose is rubbed off from blowing my nose, but that's it. This foundation wears amazing. Like, there's no creasing, no caking. That's what's getting me. No caking at all for a $5 foundation. Oh my gosh. This actually wears a lot like the Maybelline Dream Cushion that you guys know I'm kind of obsessed with. That's also a medium coverage. This wears a lot like the Maybelline Dream Cushion, and I thought it was going to break up on my skin. Like a lot of L'Oreal foundations will break up on my skin. It didn't. This worked so, so well. I can't believe this is $5. Like, why spend 40, 50, 60, 70, you crazy people, on a foundation when you can get one for $5? And this is a huge, huge shade range. Like, amazing. Like right now, you guys, I think this is my new go-to summer foundation. My skin is fairly well hydrated right now, so I'm not sure how this would do on my skin in winter, but in summer, it's done amazing so far. Now, I haven't been outside a ton today, but it is 75 in my house, which is a fairly mid-range, slightly higher temperature. Outside, it's almost like 86, 87 right now. So I haven't tested this in 90 degrees. I haven't tested this in cold, but just testing it at a nice warm temperature, this foundation does amazing. I'm shocked. Like, honestly, when I saw everyone's reviews on this and people going nuts over it, I was like, yeah, I've tried that stuff before. Someone says, oh, this product's fantastic. It's only like $2. Try it, you'll love it. Typically, it's terrible on me. Not this. This is so, so good. Plus, it's Wet n Wild. It's cruelty-free. I picked this up at Walmart. They had a bunch in stock. Like, how? How did they formulate this and be able to even sell it for $5? That's what's shocking me. Like, the formulation is so good. I don't know how they can afford to sell it for that price. Like, I love this. Oh my gosh, I love this so, 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 so much. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to mention, I know I'm also trying out the Sephora Lash Craft Mascara. No transfer, guys. We have a winner. Of course, my eyelashes are very straight and droopy, so I would have to pair this with the waterproof, but no transfer is a very good sign. I'll just have to see if the comes off with warm water claims are true later tonight. So that is everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed this kind of try-on testing new products. If you have any questions about anything I tried out today, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Or if you just want to say hi or tell me about your day or anything random, go ahead and do that in the comments down below as well. If you guys like this video, please give it a great big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also keep up with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. I am pretty much everywhere, and all the links for those are down below. Thank you guys so, so much for watching, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye!